Today, we're breaking down Mahmoud Abbas's dangerous statements about the Holocaust, and we're going to reveal this anti-Semitic celebrity's sudden change of heart. Plus, you're not going to believe which world leader just got snubbed by President Biden. Or you might believe it. I don't know how you react to news stories. We're covering all that and more on this week's episode of Today Unpacked, your weekly deep dive into Jewish and Israeli current events. Let's unpack. It's always the ones you least expect. And by that, I'm referring to Mahmoud Abbas's comments from last week where he said that Adolf Hitler ordered the mass murder of Jews because of their social role as moneylenders, not because they were Jewish. And before you jump down my throat with, obviously the guy who wrote The Secret Relationship Between Nazism and Zionism is gonna say that, there's a lot we need to dissect. Also, very impressive that you just happen to know the name of his book right off the top of your head. Okay, first of all, Mahmoud Abbas has spoken about the Holocaust a lot over the years.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
And he has lots of thoughts. Some of them, surprisingly, aren't that bad. Like in a March 2006 interview with Haaretz, he said, "The Holocaust was a terrible, unforgivable crime against the Jewish nation." Okay, that's positive. He seems to be on the right side of history, right? So what's going on, Mah? I thought we were vibing. Here's the thing. In order to understand what Abbas is saying, you have to first understand why he's saying it. It's entirely possible that he believes that the Holocaust was an unforgivable crime, but if the Jewish people were to blame for the situation they found themselves in, ultimately it undermines one of the critical ideas of Zionism, which is the belief that the Jewish people need a homeland because they've been expelled from everywhere else. But Abbas's comments didn't just stop at the Holocaust. He also cited the widely debunked Khazarian hypothesis, which claims that Ashkenazi Jews converted during the Middle Ages and are therefore not Semites with a claim to the land, which is a huge relief for me because it means all those times I got bullied in public school for being Jewish, it wasn't actually anti-Semitism. Unfortunately, it's not at all true. I'd venture to say that this is a calculated move on Abbas's part because he's got several reasons why he might benefit from discrediting a Jewish state. The main reason being, the land we've been fighting over. Okay, so it's not a stretch to try to understand why it's in Abbas's best interest to dismantle Zionism by blaming the Holocaust on the Jews, but why would he also denounce it as one of the most heinous crimes of all time? I've been trying to figure this out and hitting a lot of dead ends, but I happened to stumble upon another quote of his that shed more light on his true character. When asked about an excerpt from his book where he claims that the number of Jews killed in the Holocaust was actually not 6 million, but closer to 100,000, Abbas responded that he had written the book when the Palestinians were at war with Israel, adding that today I would not have made such remarks. What? So he's just saying things based on what his political and social motivations are at any given moment and not at all based on what he's actually thinking or feeling? The guy flip-flops more than Ali Raisman. Not surprisingly, Abbas's comments drew criticism from everyone. The ADL, J Street, and just about every other media outlet in between. But the biggest surprise, and a welcome one at that, was the support shown from a group of nearly 200 Palestinian academics, artists, and activists. Rashid Khalidi penned an open letter strongly condemning Abbas's choice of words. The Nazi genocide of the Jewish people was born of anti-Semitism, fascism, and racism. We adamantly reject any attempt to diminish, misrepresent, or justify anti-Semitism, Nazi crimes against humanity, or historical revisionism vis-a-vis the Holocaust. It's a strong reminder that despite Abbas's comments, he doesn't represent the Palestinian people as a whole. It's easy to paint in broad strokes, but the reality is that many of his own people are at odds with him and think and believe very different things. It might seem logical based on our own understanding of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that allegiances are obvious, but maybe it's a little bit more nuanced than that, and maybe we're starting to make some progress. Maybe. There's a lot to digest here, but it's important to stay vigilant and call out dangerous and false narratives like Abbas's, especially when coming from someone in power. With that being said, I want to pass the question off to you. What do you think of Abbas's comments? Were they problematic and deeply misinformed? Or do you think he's just trying to further his own agenda? And next, if you loved You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, well, you're gonna love the sequel, You're So Not Invited to My White House. Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu is planning a trip to the United States next week for the UN General Assembly, but it appears that the White House isn't one of the stops on his tour. Netanyahu had hoped to get an invite to Washington to meet with the president, but the Biden administration has reportedly resisted rolling out the red carpet for Netanyahu in light of his current efforts in the judicial overhaul. What does this mean for the once brotherly allyship between Israel and America? Netanyahu and Biden are still set to meet and speak, just not at the White House. But don't get stressed. It's gonna get figured out, probably over deep conversations at the Waffle House. In terms of international diplomacy, this is definitely the Biden administration's way of voicing disapproval for Netanyahu's actions. But fortunately, the US and Israel have ties that go pretty deep. Between technology, medicine, and finance, there's plenty keeping Israel and America's relationship friendly, even if they do have the occasional disagreement. And don't worry, by the end of the movie, they'll make up and realize it was never about who had the best bat mitzvah, but about the friendships along the way. Next up, let's read some comments. This comment comes from Julio Alexo. You have significantly improved your commentary, Noam. At first I was hesitant and didn't love it, but now it seems cleaner, more organic, better organized. It's just great. Looks like you did put that effort in. Congratulations. Well, thank you for that. And if you want to be featured in an upcoming episode, leave a comment down below and you might just get a shout out and a t-shirt. And finally, ending off on a note of repentance, just in time for the Jewish New Year, we've got our old buddy, Kanye West. But after today, he might be going by Kanye Western Wall because it looks like he's backpedaling his anti-Semitism at New York Fashion Week. Photos and videos began circulating this week of the disgraced rapper strutting down the runway sporting a Jewish Lives Matter sweatshirt. And Jewish fans breathed a collective sigh of relief that they would finally be able to strap their Yeezys back on and blast the college dropout again. Until reality set in. It was a hoax. We've been swindled. Art is a lie. The sham was actually fronted by a Kanye West impersonator named Baron J. Littleton Jr., who goes by the stage name The Kanye Clone. Baron teamed up with Creators Inc. to pull off the stunt, which was originally supposed to feature him wearing the infamous White Lives Matter shirt that Kanye wore last year, but instead he opted to put his own spin on it. I wanted to convey a message that Jewish lives matter, he told the New York Jewish Week. My intention behind it is that each culture can rally around each other. Creators Inc. CEO Andrew Bachman, who is Jewish himself, jumped at the opportunity to help combat the damage Kanye had done by using his platform to do some good. He was quoted as saying, "Kanye West has made anti-Semitic remarks, so taking someone who looks identical to Kanye and making that statement is powerful and thought-provoking." Well, it wasn't quite the redemption arc we were hoping for, as Kanye is still in Italy making a mockery of the gondola industry, but at least someone is out there doing the Lord's work to fight anti-Semitism. Speaking of which, we got merch in, so you too can go out there and fight the good fight. Make sure to snag a t-shirt or hoodie in the link down below, and while you're sitting around trying to figure out what to watch next, why not click on one of our other videos? Do it. I dare you.